Greetings, listeners. We're back, once again, to talk to you about the Cthulhu mythos, its books, its monsters, its unfortunate human casualties, its timeline in general, and even its tangential bits, like the Dreamlands, or things of a weird nature, or things that are Lovecraftian leaning, weird fiction, science fiction, horror, learn of terrible meetings in lonely places, of cyclopean ruins and vast staircases that lead down to abysses of nighted secrets, of complex angles that lead through invisible walls to other regions of space and time, and of hideous explorations in remote and forbidden places on other worlds and in different time-space continua. From the creation of our galaxy to the death of the sun, this is an exploration of the Cthulhu mythos from the perspective of humans' concept of history. We are the people's guide to the Cthulhu mythos. You can find us at PGTTCM.com, PGTTCM.podbean.com, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The People's Guide to the Cthulhu mythos starts now.
The People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos. Season 8.
805.
Some were the figures of well-known myth, gorgons, chimeras, dragons, cyclopses, and all their shuddersome congeners. Others were drawn from darker and more furtively whispered cycles of subterranean legend. Black, formless Sathagwa, many-tentacled Cthulhu, Proboscidean chaugnar, and other rumored blasphemies from forbidden books like the Necronomicon, the Book of Ibon, or the Unsprachlichen Kulten of von Junz. H.P. Lovecraft, The Horror in the Museum.
Series 8, Episode 4. Chaugnar. This episode is brought to you by FoundItemClothing.com and BunnySlippers.com. Subscribe to PGTTCM with DB, Spitzer, and Sara wherever you subscribe to podcasts. We use Podbean and Apple Podcasts. Check out our new website over at www.pgttcm.com. Check out new PGTTCM merch over at pgttcm.threadless.com. Follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at PGTTCM, and YouTube at People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos.
Hey, is there someone out there that you think would love to listen to this and would like to know more about the Cthulhu Mythos, but is like, I don't want to listen to podcasts. Podcasts are pretentious and stupid. Send them over to the YouTube page. It's pretty cool.
Edited by Daniel Spitzer. Audio by Sara and Daniel Spitzer. Music by Kevin MacLeod, featuring the following: The Chamber, Oppressive Gloom, The Sky of Our Ancestors.
Help the show by sharing, rating, liking, or 5-star giving wherever you listen to or rate podcasts. Support the show by hitting the Patreon button at pgttcm.podbean.com or by going to paypal.me/pgttcm. Buy a cool shirt from pgttcm.threadless.com. PGTTCM is part of the Dark Myths Collective. Learn more at darkmyths.org.
While we're so when this goes out, it's the week before Halloween.
Yes, that's correct.
Or the week of.
No, the week after. So the week before.
Okay, all right.
So next week, when this goes out on Tuesday, Halloween will be the next day.
Ooh, okay, all right. Ooh, spooky Halloween.
Hey, can I tell you a joke my son made up and then I workshopped with him?
Sure.
Okay. What does a ghost call its rear end?
It's ass.
Nope, it's booty.
Ah.
Yeah. Booty.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you guys doing Switch Witch this year?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
We're definitely going trick-or-treating with my sister.
Sure.
She lives in the neighborhood that has a bunch of big houses in it.
Ooh, nice candy.
Exactly. A lot of it.
Yeah.
I might just say Switch Witch. Maybe we'll do Switch Witch, and then I'll keep the candy. Last year we threw it out, but I kind of like candy.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like candy. I'm not going to hide the fact that I like candy. Everybody knows already.
Are you going to dress up this year?
Yeah, I'm going as a witch. I have a witch's hat.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then I'm going to wear a black dress.
Ooh.
Maybe some purple striped socks.
Are your kids dressing up as anything fun?
Yes. My little one is going as a ladybug. It's a hand-me-down costume from my niece.
Nice.
And she's totally excited about it.
Yeah.
And then my big guy is going as a pirate.
Ooh,
Yeah.
cool.
His idea. Last year it was a ninja.
Uh-huh.
And the year before that, it was a Power Ranger.
Okay.
And he even has like a new Power Ranger costume he could just put on and be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, because I thought he was going to be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, no, he says he wants to be a pirate, which I am totally into because I'm like, yes, generic costume.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Because it's more fun. You can make up however kind of pirate you want to be.
Oh, sure.
Right now, he's like, I want to be like a ghost pirate. No, I want to be like a ninja pirate. No, I want to be like, I want to be like a, what was this latest one? Power Ranger pirate.
Yeah.
It's not really, but he's all like, I want to be like an archaeologist pirate.
Ooh.
Yeah, get a whip.
Speaking of archaeologists and whips and stuff like that,
Yeah.
let's something that we were just talking about in
Right.
the little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how pulp tends to have a little bit of problematic bits.
Oh, yeah.
When regarding to we discovered
Well-
this in the most primitive parts of the world.
Well, like adventure pulp has a lot to do with go somewhere you're not familiar with,
Yeah.
and then experience cultures you don't know about.
Yes.
Judge them through your own cultural lens.
Yes.
And then, say, oh, how odd and weird. That's so weird that these people wouldn't want you to take their idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you should,
They took
for some reason.
we took their religious idol, and everyone was all.
I mean, one of the things about the story we went over today that's
Yes.
different is that the native people are like, you came finally, take our idol.
Take it away.
Take it away.
Get it out of here.
You're meant to take it away.
Yeah.
So he takes it away.
Should have been the big clue. First big clue. First big clue.
Right. People want to keep their own idols
Yeah.
generally if they're not mean and blood-sucky with their proboscis.
Yes.
This is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it is
Proboscis. That's what it is.
Proboscis.
It's proboscis.
Proboscis.
Yes.
Okay. No, but it is an interesting story.
Oh yeah, it really is. It's an interesting story. I feel like it's a real tale against the collection of other cultures' artifacts. In fact, because back in the day, before people of other cultures had more self. Anyway, white colonial people used to collect treasures of other cultures and then
Yes.
put them in museums for
Yes.
everybody to look at, and they thought this was a good idea. And and in this story they do that, and then that statue is actually a god that wants to eat everybody. Bwahahaha.
Oh yeah.
Words could not adequately convey the repulsiveness of the thing. It was endowed with a trunk and great uneven ears, and 2 enormous tusks protruded from the corners of its mouth, but it was not an elephant. Indeed, its resemblance to an actual elephant was at best sporadic and superficial. Despite certain unmistakable points of similarity, the ears were webbed and tentacled, the trunk terminated in a huge flaring disc of at least a foot in diameter, and the tusks which intertwined and interlocked at the base of the statue were as translucent as rock crystal.
Faugn, the elephant god, the horror from the hills, was created by Frank Belknap Long and first appeared in his novel The Horror from the Hills in 1931. Faugn appears as a horribly grotesque idol made from an unknown element, combining the worst aspects of octopus, elephant.
We'd like to thank you for listening to People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos. Our sponsor is BunnySlippers.com, your finest source of wonderful Cthulhu slippers and cool shirts from FoundItemClothing.com, your favorite shirts from your favorite cult films, and also these fine folks.
and human being. When chaugnar faugn hungers, he can move incredibly quickly for his size and use his lamprey-like trunk to drain blood from any organism he encounters. Chaugnar faugn came to Earth from another dimension eons ago, possibly in the form other than the one which he later assumed. Upon arriving, he found dominant life forms to be only simple amphibians. From these creatures, he created the Miri Negri to be his servitors. The Miri Negri would later mate with humans, early humans, to produce hybrids that would eventually evolve into the Chocho people. The Chocho people of Indochina are known for their horrid rites to the Great Old Ones and their particular cannibal diet.
Mythical people.
Yes, these are mythical people, not an actual group of people of Indochina. The following is a summary of The Horror from the Hills, the story that originates chaugnar faugn.
The novel concerns the elephantine Great Old One chaugnar faugn. Algernon Harris was the curator of archaeology at Manhattan Museum of Fine Arts. He sent his field workers to the most primitive and dangerous parts of the world for artifacts. Not all came back unscathed, and 2 returned inexplicably mutilated. A third, Clark Ullman, returned with a stone idol of hideous appearance and with his face concealed with a scarf.
The idol resembled an elephant more than anything else. The pedestal was also of an ugly, unidentifiable stone. Richardson had spoken of it in an account of the tortures he endured at the hands of its subhuman worshippers. Ullman was made to take the idol to civilization to fulfill an ancient prophecy. Ullman also said that chaugnar faugn was not just an idol, but the god itself, and that it attacked Ullman in the night and fed on his blood.
Chaugnar faugns high priest and spokesman explained to Ullman that Chaugnar and his 5 brothers once lived in an inaccessible cave in the Pyrenees, served by humanoids that Chaugnar created, the Miri Negri. They received human sacrifices from the people of Pompello until the Romans wiped them out. Chaugnar faugn and his brothers then destroyed Pompello, and the former then moved to Asia to await the, quote, white acolyte, unquote, Ullman.
Ullman was bidden to convey the idol to civilization and warned that Chaugnar had put a sacrament on him that, if he made to destroy or dispose of the idol, he would rot away in moments. Ullman rambled about theories of alien life prior to the organic life that now inhabits Earth, and to convince Algernon, unveiled his mutilated face. In the midst of arguing about whether his now inhuman face was the work of chaugnar faugn or that of the acolyte, Ullman collapsed and died.
Ullman's face now had an elephantine trunk and huge ears, hardly explainable by disease or plastic surgery, and his body was already beginning to decay. After the inquest, the idol was put on display in the museum.
Algernon and museum president Scullard very soon afterwards had to investigate the murder of Mr. Sinley, a guard. The man had been found, drained of blood, his face mutilated beyond recognition. The idol's proboscis was dripping with blood. Then also interviewed the Chinese laundry boss, who was guided by a dream to come to the museum and was eaten by chaugnar. When they examined the idol, they found that the trunk had moved since yesterday.
After some discussion, they consulted a certain Roger Little. At the same time, papers reported a massacre in the Pyrenees with gigantic footprints ranged around the 14 dead, headless peasants.
Roger Little, formerly a criminal investigator and now a mystic recluse, who had even seen mythos phenomena. He also relates a dream about Pompello's destruction. The text here is taken almost verbatim from a November 1927 letter by Lovecraft to Bernard Dwyer relating to one of his dreams.
The trio now get a phone call from the museum that chaugnar faugn had left the museum and is now roaming the streets of Manhattan. It was then that Roger Little, seeing the time has come to act, reveals his anti-entropy ray. The machine is indescribably complex, and so are its emotions when switched on. Algernon swore he saw a face appear in the whirling parts just before a ray shot out and bathed the wall. Little shuts the ray off before the wall would have dissolved into its original components.
Little explains that the ray reverses entropy, sends anything it hits back through time, and he hopes that chaugnar, bathed in the ray, will return to its original form and go back to where he came from, before entropy over Earth's eons shaped him the way he is now. The machine is portable, so they intend to pursue chaugnar.
Chaugnar faugn has attacked and mangled 5 people. Imhert thinks the machine is just a hypnotizer, and Algernon plays the ray on the wall until it dissolves to convince him otherwise. Apologizing to Little for damaging his apartment, the 3 set out to stop chaugnar's rampage.
Police reports of murders guide the trio to where chaugnar faugn has gone, to the New Jersey seacoast. Chaugnar would have stood his ground and attacked them, but the ray proved painful and powerful and forced him to turn and run. A bathhouse, a turtle, and seashells vanished in the ray, and Chaunar's geological ancientness alone enabled it to survive. They figure it would take 10 to 15 minutes of the ray to do its work on him.
Chaugnar is unable to move fast when its feet get caught in the shore mire, and the ray is played on it, and the 3 endure its awful bellowing. Before their eyes, Chaugnar de-evolves and slowly, horribly disincarnates. Chaugnar, after many transformations, reverts to a mantle of glowing slime and finally fades away. Chaugnar, now an expanding force in the sky, appears and tries to grab the 3 who heard it so, but then vanishes. The dawn comes. At the same time, Chaunar's 5 brothers also have vanished in the Pyrenees before they could do any further havoc, leaving but 5 pools of rotten slime. This means that Chaugnar and his brothers were actually connected hyperdimensionally. Though Chaugnar is now gone, Little ponders the possibility that he may someday, after ages, return to ravage again.
Dun dun dun!
Bum, bum, bum. I really like that the mythos is this kind of like invention of modern people's understanding of the evolution of Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Instead of it being like, well, let's deal with what happens now and sort of like invent a giant being that, you know, sneezes and that's what causes the thunder or something. That now it's like, well, we know that there's been time and evolution and there's things that happened before that we can't really see. And let's pretend that there was a big alien god that made them happen.
Yeah.
Wah-ha-ha.
Yeah.
It's like now we have a more complete understanding of the evolution of the world, and now we're going to make up new things for that.
Exactly. And it's fun to have this like weird overlay over like Earth's history and like some things that people do with various stories with the mythos is like human history, overlay it into human history and have some elements be like, oh yeah, it was amigos are why the Hindenburg exploded.
Oh, I like that idea.
And there's some people who are really, really, really good at this. You know that guy Ken Hite?
Oh, yeah.
He's really good at making up stuff for the mythos.
Cool. He's also a great conversationalist in general.
And also, he knows more about Dracula than Dracula.
I'll tell you what. That's always interesting to me to see the intersection of different sort of mythological made-up ideas.
Yes.
Like, who do you think would win, Cthulhu or Superman?
Cthulhu.
Yeah?
Yes.
But Superman just gets stronger in the yellow sun. He's faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah, but he's not made of multi-dimensional material.
That's a good point. He can't drive men mad with his dreams.
And for all we know, what is mentioned and called Cthulhu is just what some sailors and some guy was like, I think this is Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I have a different question.
Sure.
Who would win, Superman or chaugnar faugn?
Oh, probably Superman.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd
'Cause
probably...
he's got the laser eyes.
He's got the laser eyes, and he'd be like, I'm not gonna... Or he would fly backwards in time with chaugnar faugn.
Ooh, I love it. But then
Yeah.
he would de-evolve the entire planet.
No, he would grab chaugnar faugn and then fly around the Earth backwards a whole bunch.
But see, like the reason that time reversed on the Earth when he did that was because he spun the whole Earth backwards.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
He would just grab chaugnar faugn and throw him into the sun.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of chaugnar faugn. You throw him at the sun.
Do you don't think he would feed off of the energy of the sun and grow huge?
No, he'd go...
Would he be like one of those little capsules that you put in the bath and then it turns into a giant dinosaur sponge?
That's how I imagine Zathagwa's family travels through space. They're little capsules, and then when they land on a planet with atmosphere, they're like, oh, now we can turn into giant sponges again.
The Gods of Easter Island. Long ere Priapus pranced through groves, Arcadian sunlight kissed, the gods of Easter Island were born out of the mist. Before the elder deities from Egypt's fogs were born, the gods of Easter Island stood up to greet the morn.
That was a sample of The Gods of Easter Island by Robert E. Howard, performed by Donald Sidney Fryer for Van Dogen and Bremmer's Robert E. Howard. Gods of Easter Island and other poems, performed by Donald Sidney Fryer. Music by someone Plowman. I'm sorry, I forgot your first name, Plowman. Anyhow, it's a really good collection of poems by Robert E. Howard. I really enjoyed it. It was fun to listen to while I worked on stuff. I don't know if I'd listen to it a whole bunch. I do really like the way it sounds, and I do like the music behind it, but not all of it. I would probably want to edit the order myself personally and listen to it, but that's how I, make a playlist. And that's what I would do. Just take out the poems that I don't like. Wish I could do that with anthology books. And, yeah. But there's only a couple that I don't like. Just kind of like, I don't know, their tone and stuff. Are kind of not what I'm down with. But hey. This is Robert E. Howard, writer of the Conan novels, writer of the Conan short stories. So you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. So this is a positive review. So yes, check out Van Dogen and Bremmer's collection of Robert E. Howard poems read by Donald Sidney Fryer, Easter Island, Gods and Other Poems. I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. There's just a couple, like The Aimless Woman. Yuck. Anyway, otherwise, there's some really good stuff. There was one that I was like, oh, it sounds like it could be problematic, that I actually really liked, called The Barbarian and the Lady. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's probably available on Van Dogen and Bremmer.com. And I talked about it last episode, I believe. And yeah, Van Dogen and Bremmer.com, and look them up on Facebook. I believe they've got a page on Facebook, and you should be able to find it on Amazon. So check it out on Amazon, check it out on their website, and hopefully they got a sample that you can check out. But listen to my sample. It sounded pretty good. I recommend it. Okay, back to the show.
Then, I love the whole thing of like they have to have some sort of, science fiction anti-entropy ray.
Yes.
Like that particular bit, I was like, an anti-entropy ray.
That's like 1950s.
It's 1950s level science fiction.
Yeah, that's like
gobbledygook.
mad scientist stuff that like,
Yeah.
at one point in time, Lovecraft does that a couple of times with like, say, the Tillinghast Resonator.
Yes.
And then also in
Well, like
at
that
the Mountains of Madness,
Oh, yeah?
there's like the drill, like the super drill.
Yeah, the super drill. I also love the one where they have a phone. They go down in the grave. What's
Oh
that
yeah,
one? It's not the Hound.
that is the Statement of Randolph
That's
Carter.
right. The Statement of Randolph Carter. It's like, it's not cordless, but it does. Pretty much. So, excellent reception down in that grave, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to see these ideas of technological solutions before really idea probably influenced people into like the ray guns of the future
Sure.
and stuff. I also if they didn't happen to just have this guy who happened to have a anti-entropy ray, as if the second law of thermodynamics can just be dissolved with a little electricity and radium.
Uh-huh.
What were they going to do about this god? Right?
Start worshiping a new god.
Right. Well, one of the things about chaugnar faugn is that he's also like a mini old one. He's like
Yeah.
the pocket-sized version
Yes.
of an old one, only 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
So maybe they could cut it.
I don't know. I don't know, because I think then what would happen, not cutting it, but, if you didn't have the ray, then he'd start gaining more power. And then across the ocean over in the Pyrenees,
Yeah, his 5
brothers
brothers.
would start gaining more power. And
It's 5 brothers, whatever.
yeah, and then start spreading out across the world. Ooh.
I love that the Pyrenees are like the mountains you can't get to. It's not the Himalayas,
No.
which are actually pretty inaccessible.
Yes. No. I feel like Frank Belknap Long was like, let me think. What would be good? What would be some good?
Do you think
good
maybe
mountains?
he spun a globe and then put his finger down?
Yeah,
and was
or
like,
he
oh
just
look, there's
looked
some mountains over
at
here.
Mountains. Looked up mountains in the
Like,
encyclopedia.
I've never heard of Pyrenees. That's it. Those
'Cause-
are the ones.
Yeah, because where does
I believe the Pyrenees are in Turkey. My phone's plugged in the
no,
room.
the Pyrenees are. You remember the cartoon Belle and Sebastian?
Yes.
That takes place in the Pyrenees.
Oh, so sort of like Eastern Western Europe.
Between Spain and France.
Oh, that's totally accessible. What the
Yeah.
F?
Yeah.
Also, people eat cheese there.
Yes.
That's not primitive.
Yeah. Le petit pastis is so good.
So good.
So, chaugnar faugns a pretty crazy, micro old one. It's
Yes.
like this little tiny thing
tiny
that's been
guy.
around since, roughly since amphibians have been on the planet Earth.
Yeah, yeah. And mostly he presents as a statue, and then he can, quote, move pretty fast when he's hungry, unquote.
Yeah.
That seems insane.
Yeah. It's so he's just this indestructible thing.
Wait.
that
Is he
slowly-
indestructible, or can you break him with a hammer?
I don't think you can, because they had to dissolve him with a
Anti-entropy ray.
yeah.
Maybe they tried a hammer first. I don't know. These dudes sound like, you know what? We need to try the most difficult thing first.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
hammer sex. Anyway.
chaugnar faugns a tiny, 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 great old one.
He is.
But he's powerful enough to create an amphibian race that is
that's
his
right. Well, it's not
servitors.
they're not his only creation, right?
No. And then, he didn't create the chocho. The chocho bred with the Mirinagri, I guess almost like deep ones in humans, but this would have been like
Well, they were pre-humans or human-esque.
early
early
humans. But yeah.
That's what happened to all the Neanderthals. It wasn't Homo sapien massacring them at all.
Nope. Nope. They got caught up with amphibians and fish people.
Shall we wrap this up?
I think we should wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
Okay, so hey,
bow on it.
I hope everyone has a really good and safe, fun Halloween.
Yes. Put lights on your kids.
Yeah, and put kids on your lights.
Yeah, both. You really want to make sure that your lights are protected by some young lives.
Yeah. And also, don't eat raw pumpkin. I know jack-o'-lanterns look delicious, but don't eat them.
Oh, take your candy to the local police station to get x-rayed. 'Cause that's safe. I'll tell you what, if you're that paranoid about trick-or-treating, just have a party.
Stay home and buy your own candy.
Exactly.
If you're worried about children getting razor blades and pins and stuff like that, stay at home, buy your own candy.
Yes.
Don't let your children have any fun.
That's right. Never. Glare at them the entire evening.
Exactly. Be like, no candy for you. How about some lukewarm water?
Oh, man. Lukewarm. What luxury.
Yeah. How about a can of cream of tomato soup? There you go.
Oh, man. Cream
Happy
of
Halloween.
tomato soup, not just stewed tomatoes. You are spoiling the kids, Daniel. I'm
Cream
sorry.
of asparagus.
DB? You spoil the kids.
That's what I do. How about a can of sauerkraut from the 80s?
Oh,
Cleaning out my pantry. Happy Halloween, kids.
God, no, thank you. That is poison.
That can is poison. 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 I want everyone to remember to keep weird.
And stay squiggly.
Bye, everyone.
The People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos wishes you all a happy and safe Halloween!